What?
What?
What the hell is this?
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph!
You watch your ass.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Let the show begin.
Hey everybody, this is David Heretic and Mrs. Heretic bringing you our concert review video for Skillet. Man, what a show. That was quite the show, wasn't it?
It was amazing.
It was a great show. We're going to talk about everything, I promise, okay? We're going to go over the whole night. So we're going to start off with dinner. We always like to talk about the restaurants that we do visit, and we do patronage. And of course, being at the Wiltern, where else are we going to go? We're going to go to the greatest Brazilian steakhouse definitely in LA. I don't know about the whole world, but I mean, in LA, man, nothing beats this place. We're talking about M Grill.
That's true.
One of our favorite places to go to. They are an amazing staff, amazing food, amazing restaurant as always. We went hungry. Definitely go hungry, folks. If you're going to go, you want to go hungry for sure. We had a great meal. Wouldn't you agree? What were your highlights of the meal? I already know never mind. I already know what you're going to say. Go ahead and say it.
The wine.
The wine. Their wine list is extensive. Listen, I know we've talked about this in the past, but it just seems like their wine list just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. They don't have a wine list. They have a wine book. I mean, this thing is, I think they said it's 38 pages now, 38 pages long of wines from all over the world. Evo, one of their general managers, he's a very, very, how should I say this? Wine connoisseur he's a wine snob. Let's just put it that way.
No. He's a wine expert.
Yeah, he's definitely a wine expert. And he knows what he likes. He knows what would go well with Brazilian food. Let me tell you, folks, their wine list is exceptional. The food is always phenomenal. The service, always going above and beyond. They do not say the words no, don't, and can't. They're just an amazing restaurant. So much so that I'm actually looking to do some business with them, do a little cross-marketing with them for the channel. They're going to, hopefully, if everything works out, they may become an official sponsor of the channel. They love the channel. They watch the channel, believe it or not. They actually do. So everybody work at M Grill, how you doing?
And big shout out to Carlos, Evo's night off, because Evo has Sundays off.
Yes, he was.
Carlos took amazing care of us as always, as well as our server, Isela.
Isela's phenomenal, man. She's such a doll. She's great. We had a great time at dinner. Folks, seriously, if you've never been there before, if you've never gone to M Grill, and you're going to a show at the Wiltern, do yourselves a favor. Park at M Grill. You're going to be literally 5 doors away from the Wiltern. Go upstairs, have a great meal, and then go to the show. You will not be disappointed. I guarantee you about that.
Just make sure, number one, you make reservations well in advance because they do get busy.
Oh, yes.
But they do provide Wiltern parking over there for $20 when you do go to a show. So you have it's dual purpose. You kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You don't have to worry about finding a place to park. You know where you're going to be having dinner. You make your reservation. You get really good service, really good wine, because you're not going to get any type of wine like that at the Wiltern.
No.
And then you can just walk right over to the show, wait in line till the doors open. And it is by far the best food you can get in Los Angeles. Hands down.
Hands down. Absolutely. We love M Grill to death, man. We really do. Every chance we get to go there and eat, we do. Okay, so dinner was fantastic. Great way to start the evening. We go get in line. We don't have to wait very long because as soon as we got in line, boy, they opened the doors and the line started moving. Big shout out to the Wiltern staff. They really know how to make that line move. They have like 4 different stations for the metal detectors, and they are just constantly moving. Very helpful staff, very courteous staff. So always a big shout out to the Wiltern Theater for putting on a class act in a great venue. We get inside, we take our seats, and the opening act. Now, the opening act, I had never heard of these guys. Saint Asonia. What did you think of Saint Asonia?
I think they had a lot of energy. They were a really awesome band. I'm not going to go into too much detail because I have no idea about their music or anything else. I do know that they are still in the Christian rock genre. When I Googled them, the lead vocalist was the lead vocalist for 3 Days Grace, which was also a Christian band. Yeah, so that actually gave us a lot of insight into what we were going to be listening to.
Yeah, that was definitely an eye-opener when they started playing some of the songs from 3 Days of Grace. I was like, I recognize these songs. I know these songs. I've heard these songs on the radio. As far as that goes, I thought Saint Asonia did a great job. They have great stage energy, a lot of great crowd interaction, some great stage interaction. Stage presence was there, stage energy was there. Production, I mean, they're the opening act. You're not going to have a whole lot of production as the opening act, unfortunately. But showmanship was there. They checked all the important boxes. My only gripe about Saint Asonia, and I don't know how you feel about this, but this is just kind of a personal gripe for me. I understand that Saint Asonia is a supergroup. And I understand that the lead vocalist was the lead vocalist for 3 Days of Grace. I get it. Okay, I absolutely understand that. And I have no problem with if you want to pull one song from your old group and play, you know, a very popular song, something that's going to get the crowd's attention. I get that. I absolutely get that. 2 songs, I think you're pushing it a little bit, but okay, fine. I understand, especially if you're brand new, you're trying to get your name out on the scene. Pull out a couple of songs from the old band that is recognizable and get the crowd going. I get that too. 3 songs, it's a bit much. I mean, and that's what they did. They pulled out 3 songs from 3 Days of Grace. Almost half of their set list was from the old band. And to me, when you're a new band, like I said, I understand, but don't you want to push your material forward? Don't you want people to listen to your material? I don't know how you feel about that. How do you feel about that?
I would have to agree with you, especially because they were the opening act. Their set list was quite short. I think it was like 7 or 8 songs.
8 songs, I believe.
So, I mean, that was just something like, you know, wouldn't it be awesome for you to push what you're currently promoting?
Yeah.
So to speak.
Your product.
Yeah.
Not the old product, the current product. I just felt like they relied too much on the star power and the recognition of the older material. The material, and here's the thing, the newer material, the stuff that they have with the new supergroup, I thought it was great. I loved it. I thought the music was fantastic. I mean, when they did play the old songs from 3 Days of Grace, they got a huge pop. They certainly did. They got a huge crowd response, much bigger than anything from their current material. But at the same time, isn't the focus supposed to be the new material? Like I said, I got no problem pulling out one song. You know, if they had done one song, their biggest hit, you know, I Hate Everything About You, sure, do that song, and only do that song. But they pulled out 3 of them, and that's almost half of their set list. So I just felt kind of like, I hate to say this, but I felt kind of cheated because I was really enjoying the new material. So, I don't know, what? Okay, let me ask you this. On a scale of 1 to 10, or do your thumbs, or however you want to score, what would you give Saint Asonia for their performance? What would you give them?
Okay, for just their material?
Yeah, just for their part.
Not the 3 Days
No,
Grace
you
stuff?
have to include it all together.
Okay.
Include it all together.
Okay.
It's one show.
Okay, I'm going to separate it a little bit. Okay?
And that.
I can do what I want.
All
This
right,
is my
fine.
opinion.
Go ahead.
Okay. I would give them, for the fact that they, with their new material, I actually like their new material more than I like their 3 Days Grace stuff.
I agree.
So what I'm going to say, and I don't know either band, FYI, because I've never really heard of 3 Days Grace. So what I'm going to say is, I would give them for just the new material a 1.5 up.
1.5 thumbs up.
1.5.
Nice.
Now, for their 3 Days Grace stuff, I would give them about 3/4 of a thumb up. So literally,
3/4 of a thumb
up. So basically, they're literally getting a thumb up for their total performance.
Okay.
So I was breaking it down and then putting it back together.
I see what you did there. Okay. I'm just gonna lump them all up together. I would give their live performance. I would give their show, their songs, everything put together. I would give it about an 8.2. If I'm being honest with you. Like I said, if they had not relied so heavily on the older material, I would have given them an 8.6, 8.7 easily. But because they did rely on that crutch, I gotta take them down to an 8.2. Not that they did anything wrong with their live show. I dug the new stuff. I thought their current material was fantastic. But the fact that they rely on that crutch of the old material, it shows, you know what it shows? It shows lack of faith in their current material. And that's scary. It really is. I really hope they can get over that hump and stop relying so much. Like I said, pull one song out. Yeah, absolutely. I get it. 3 out of 8, not gonna work. Okay, they were done. The house lights came up. You went to the restroom.
I had to pee. Okay, I didn't want to miss the main show.
No, that's fine. You came back just in time, right when the intro was kicking in. And then Skillet hit the stage. And folks, let me tell you, for every single person in the comments, whenever I've done a Skillet reaction, who have told me, you need to see Skillet live. You need to see Skillet live to really appreciate what they do. Folks, let me tell you, y'all were telling facts. You were absolutely dropping truth bombs left and right. All those live videos, and I mean every single live performance that I have watched on this channel does not do this band justice. Those videos absolutely suck compared to being there at a live performance in person. I'm sorry, video does not capture Skillet live properly. You really want to see Skillet live, you really want to experience it, you have got to go to a live show. Wow. That's all I can say is wow.
So
from the get-go.
Okay. I'm going to take over this a little bit because
go ahead. I need to take a breath.
Here's the thing. He's done a lot of Skillet reaction. I used to listen to some of Skillet back in the day. I mean, they've been around for over 20 years. So I listened to them from like some of the beginning stuff, but not a whole lot because like I said, I listen normally the radio. I've never been a big, but
they play some songs and you were you were going nuts. And I'm looking at you going, why are you going so crazy for this song? And you looked at me and you're like, I know this song. And I'm like, what?
He was kind of shocked. Kind of shocked. But they opened this show with a bang. And I am going to tell you, they played Feel Invincible. And literally, I'm going to tell you, this made me feel invincible.
That song is amazing. I loved that song.
It's a great opener, isn't it?
I remember when I did my initial reaction to Feel Invincible, I remember saying this would make a great show opener. Boy, I was so right. And I could not think of a better song out of their set list to open the show with. I thought that was the perfect song for them to open their set list with. What did you think of it? Just
hands down, that jazz, like you should have heard the pop from the audience. And this is not a song I really know. So I'm like sitting here going, when they started playing, I'm like, why is everyone going crazy? Why? And then the lead singer comes out and the lights go insane. And poof!
We're going to talk about those lights.
Oh my God. I literally was like, oh, this is what you've been talking about when it comes to like a show opening pop.
Let me tell you, that didn't do it justice. My description did not do it justice. I have seen video footage of them playing live, and I'm sorry, those videos, they just do not do the pop justice. They don't. When they took the stage, everybody came out, the song kicked in, the crowd went bonkers. And I was looking around. I do this a lot. This is one of the reasons why I don't like being up at the front. I like being at the back. I really do. I like being near the soundboard. I like being up high if possible, so I can look over everything and I can watch the crowd and I can look around and I can see the crowd. Man, the crowd was going nuts. Even the people sitting down were going nuts. And I was just sitting here going, this is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. The amount of detail and attention they put into their production. Holy smokes. The lights, the digital screens, they had, I don't know, how many digital screens were there? 8?
6, I think.
I think it was an odd number. I think it was 7. and they were kind of like going up
They
and then
were
coming back
staggered.
down again.
Yeah,
they were staggering
staggered.
up and down. Man, they utilized those digital screens really well. Not overly done, like some other bands rely on them, but they used it more as an accent. And they would put the words up, and they would use light. They had floodlights attached to the sides of the panels.
Okay.
And they just, man, the attention to detail on their live production was amazing.
Well, and the thing was, and I'm going to help, I want to kind of bring it through, but they did Feel Invincible. And then after they did Feel Invincible, when they used those staggering things, was with Rise.
Yes.
And literally they had the word Rise up staggered in between those things. And people were like, Rise!
Yeah,
Rise!
they were
Oh
they were
my God, it
pumping
was
the
so,
fist.
so awesome.
It was amazing.
Let's go into number 2 with Rise. Which I thought, like you thought the pop from Feel Invincible, when they went into the chorus for Rise, everybody, even people who didn't know like myself, they literally, the crowd interaction with that song was on par, fan-frickin-tabulous.
Yes.
Like, they literally got everybody in the audience to participate.
Yep. I remember when I did the reaction for Rise, I wasn't the biggest fan of the song. And I remember in the comments, people were telling me, you guys see this live, you guys see this live. Man, my appreciation for that song came up quite a bit. I'm not going to sit here and say that I love it, but at the same time, my opinion of that song rose greatly. No pun intended. My opinion of that song rose greatly because I did see it in an actual live setting. I think one of the reasons why I'm not such a big fan of some of those live Skillet videos is because there's so much post-production. There's so much, chopping. There's so much editing. There's so much compressing and noise gating and everything else, and re-records and overdubs and, mixing studio over the live and stuff like that. I really wish they didn't do that. I really wish they would just leave those live videos alone and really capture the live essence. Is the sound quality going to suffer a little bit? Yeah, probably, but you'll capture the live essence unfiltered and unrestricted. It's just such an amazing experience to be doing their live. Leading into Surviving the Game.
Which you said was one of your favorites, right?
No, that's the next song.
Oh, okay.
Surviving the Game it's a great song, don't get me wrong. And I think the
love
placement
that
of it,
one.
I think the placement of it was fantastic. Third song, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Coming after Rise makes perfect sense. And again, great song. This is where I believe this is where John put up the crowd guns? No, John put the crowd guns on Awake and Alive. Never mind. We'll get to that in a second. But Surviving the Game, great song, great third track. I think that's a great way to go with there. Now, fourth song, my favorite song from Skillet to date, Legendary. Love that song. Man, and let me tell you, the pop, dear Lord, when they hit that first guitar riff, the crowd went bonkers. Oh my goodness. And you're looking at me going, what song is this? And I looked at you and went, this is my favorite song. Check this out. And by the end of the song, what were you doing?
Dancing in my seat.
You were jumping up and down in your seat. Yeah, you were.
It was so much fun. So much fun.
The energy on that song translates very well into a live setting. I'm just going to make this statement right now. The entire set list, every single song translates well for live performance. It's almost as if Skillet went through their entire discography and picked out every song that they knew for a fact was going to go well into a live setting and picked it. Because there was not one song in the entire set list that did not translate well into a live performance.
I would totally agree with you. The other thing I loved about it is that they picked the way they staggered their songs and how they put them. They literally blended so well, and the way that one ended and one started was so on point, on cue, perfect, that I was like, there was never a dull moment where there was downtime through the whole entire show.
The other thing I really appreciated about the show is they didn't rely heavily on a single album. It's not like they took their main album and they performed like 6 songs from it or 8 songs from it. and then one song from this album, one song from this album, one song from this album. They kept it even across the board. They took 2 to 3 songs from 6 different albums. I mean, that's pretty well staggered, and it shows great variety, and what it really shows more than anything is great confidence in their past work. They're able to be confidently able to pick out songs from 4 years ago, 6 years ago, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, and still play it live today and still make it sound amazing, and doing it with the confidence to know that the crowd is going to A, recognize the song, B, is going to translate into a great live performance. So you gotta give them credit for that. That is outstanding.
The one thing I also do love about Skillet's music, from what I do know, is that it is incredibly relevant, continually relevant, which I love.
They stay relevant. They do keep with the trends, that's for sure.
So let's go into one of my favorite.
Oh,
and
you should have seen her.
Oh
Good
my
Lord.
God. The fact is I love the fact that they opened up acoustically with this song. With the cello and the keyboard intro.
Yeah, the keyboard and cello intro. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
But then they moved into having everybody else come on and the pop, because this is one of mine, Awake and Alive, which I know this song. I love this song. I am singing at the top of my lungs, completely out of tune.
Oh God, you
during this song. I am sorry. I'm so painfully present for you. Okay.
You cannot carry a tune in a bucket with the lid stapled and welded down. You just can't. I'm sorry.
It spills out.
But
sorry.
you had fun. But you had fun singing along, didn't you?
I had so much fun.
And I was gonna let her have her fun. I said that I'll do my best to focus on what's coming out of the speakers and try to block out what's coming out of my left ear. But you did it. You had fun with that. You did.
My God, so much.
And this is where I believe John picked up the cryo guns. Those infamous cryo guns. They were there. He utilized them twice. He used them there, and he used them on a song toward the end. I don't remember which song it was. I don't remember what song it was toward the end, but I remember it was toward the end. It was like either the last song or the second to last song. Anyway, Awake and Alive, they did a great job with that, as always. Sounded really good. No complaints from me whatsoever on that song. Translates very well into a live setting. I wasn't sure about that song. When I heard that song kick in, I was like, I don't know how this song's gonna go in a live setting. Well, let me tell you folks, it went just fine. It went just fine. They did bring it down a little bit, but as soon as they brought it down, they knew just the right amount of time to keep it down before they brought it back up again. There was never one time in this whole concert where I felt like the song dragged, or I felt like the tempo dragged, or the pacing dragged. Nothing ever dragged in this. Even when they did bring it down, they did for that effect, to give everybody a chance to kind of catch their breath. And then once they felt confident, everybody got their breath back, after 20, 30 seconds, they said, let's kick it back up again. And they brought it right back up to where they left off. It was really well done.
The energy was,
Through the
oh my God, amazing.
Next song came up, Hero. Now, they took a little bit of a different approach with this. They almost had like a little bit of a stripped down approach to the beginning of Hero. Jen coming off the drums, coming up to the front, and the spotlight was really kind of on her for about the first half of the song, having that kind of stripped down. I don't know if I would go as far as to say like an acoustic show, but it definitely had the intimacy of an acoustic show. And then at the halfway point, the song everybody just kicked in. Everybody just absolutely kicked in. And it felt really good. Sounded amazing.
Another song I know because it was on a movie that I forget which movie, but I've heard the song several times. So but like you said, the album version, the live version doesn't do the album version justice. Like it literally,
I mean the other way around.
The other way around.
Yeah, the album.
Strike that switch.
Yeah.
Yes.
The album version does not do the live version justice. Right.
It is just so good live.
I dug it. After that came a song called "Not Gonna Die," which I've done a reaction to. The funny thing is, they were going through the set list. They were playing the songs, and I'm sitting there going, I've done a reaction to that. I've done a reaction to that. I've done a reaction to that. they're out of the 14 songs they played, there's only 2 songs I've not done reactions to. So out of the 14 songs they did, I've done reactions to 12. So I recognized almost every single song. So that was kind of nice. Not Gonna Die, they did a great job, fantastic job. High energy, again, great utilization of the digital screens, the lighting, the movement around on stage. Corey, dear Lord, for those
that woman does not stop. She is like this headbanging machine.
You guys all told me if I ever get a chance to see them live, that you all told me she was gonna steal the show. You're not kidding. She was the Energizer Bunny. She just did not stop. She kept on going and going and going and going. And if I'm not mistaken, you guys have told me she's the oldest person in the group. You'd never know it. She can put on a show, let me tell you. She made everybody else look like they were standing still. I mean, and boy, she did a great job, didn't she?
Oh my God.
Especially on Not Gonna Die, man. She was doing the heel kicks and the
like literally
the deep waist headbanging and
goodness. Like I could not see her face. She was headbanging so much you could not actually get a clear view of her actual face during the entire show.
Shout out to Corey, man. I know she doesn't get enough credit for what she does play, but she earned it that show for sure. Okay, coming up after that was Whispers in the Dark.
Oh, one of my favorite songs.
You like that song?
Oh my gosh. One of my Whispers in the Dark, and then there's one more over there that's one of my favorites. I'll let you know later.
I know exactly which one it is.
So, literally, yes.
Whispers in the Dark got quite the pop.
Oh my God, not just quite the pop, the lighting effects for that.
Oh yeah.
That song in particular were out of this mother nuttin' world. Like, oh my Lord, like it looked like
they took it to a new level.
Yeah, it looked like a strobe effect. It was, you had to put on your sunglasses, I think.
I did have to put on my sunglasses a couple times during the show because I was starting to feel the lights and I was starting to kind of feel myself start to black out a little bit, so I had to put my shades on a couple times.
Good thing you brought them in with you.
I'm glad I did. Their lighting effects at times were a little overpowering. That is not a criticism. I'm not complaining about that. I'm just stating that as a fact that for me personally, because I have that condition, I had to quickly slap them on because I could start to feel myself kind of graying out, and I was like, better not take any chances. But Whispers in the Dark, great song, fantastic song. Translates really well to live. I mean, I know I'm sound like a broken record there, but man, boy, did it ever, especially the way they set it up. You heard it, you didn't recognize it at first until the vocals kicked in. You're like, okay, there we are, there it is. Great song, great placement. Coming up after that was Psycho in My Head. Now, I wasn't sure. I do not remember if I had done a reaction to this song or not. So let me look really quick. I'm almost positive I have not, because I did not recognize it. I have not done a reaction to it. So this is one of the songs where I had no idea what the song was. I'd never heard it before. And to be perfectly honest with you, I was so taken up in everything, I don't remember it even now. I really don't. This is one of the songs where I was just by this point in the concert, I was kind of like really kind of in the moment. I wasn't trying to retain information. I wasn't trying to remember everything. I was just in the moment, enjoying everything.
He was also a little mesmerized, kind of like me.
I visually, man, I cannot say enough about their light show and their production. And the stage energy and the effort and the showmanship, I can't say enough about it. I was just taking it all in. Psycho in My Head. I will say this. I don't remember if I enjoyed the song or not. I guess I must have, but I will say this. I know for a fact I didn't dislike it, because if I had disliked it, I would have remembered that, because it would have been like the only thing I disliked. And I honestly, there was nothing about this show that I disliked. So I must have enjoyed it. I don't remember it. So I still feel confident doing a reaction to it down the road later on if anyone ever requests it. It may be in the queue even. I don't even know. But I don't remember it. But like I said, I must have liked it, because I remember I didn't dislike it. What do you remember it at all?
I remember some of it. It was
Okay.
it was fun.
It was a fun song?
It was a fun song. It was a little more grit, a little grittier
Okay.
than kind of like Awake and Alive. But it was a good, like I said, everything in this in their set list flowed so freely and so well.
Yeah.
That you just were waiting, like you were anticipating. If something died for 1 second, they didn't give you a chance to think about anything moving into the next. It just moved, and
It just came at you.
the flow was phenomenal.
Yeah, the flow on this concert was amazing. Well, speaking of flow, we flowed right into
Comatose.
Okay, a song that you recognized.
Yes.
Okay, I've done a reaction to it. In a live setting, it translated well. It did. I remember I wasn't the biggest fan of this song from the version that I heard. I don't remember if it was a live version or if it was a studio version. I don't remember what I reacted to. But it did, in a live setting, it worked. It definitely worked. I think part of the reason why it worked so well was the placement. They didn't keep this toward the very end. They didn't start off the show with it either. They put this about 3/4 of the way through, where it was an appropriate place to kind of not take a breather, but dial it back a couple of notches. It was still good. The energy was still there. Don't get me wrong. It was all still there. It just wasn't as intense or as energetic as the songs before and afterward. I thought they did a really good job with it.
It's still like I said, I recognize the song. I love this song. It's like an amazing song for me. So with him sitting there going, that's his opinion. He is totally entitled to it.
I still dug it. I thought it was great.
But for me, because I recognized it, I had so much fun with the sing-along.
Yep, you did, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Okay, from Comatose, we went into a song called Finish Line. This is another song that I have not done a reaction to yet.
It's a new one from. Isn't this a newer song?
This is a new song off of the newer album. And the lead singer from Saint Asonia came out and joined them for the song because apparently he appears on the studio recording of it. That's what John told us. So that was cool. The song itself, again, do not remember it.
I don't.
I was so caught up in the moment at this point.
I don't think it was as strong as some of the other songs. Like Legendary's way stronger.
This is probably why I don't remember.
Surviving the Game is a lot stronger in regards to songs that I don't know. But it's still, for me, it was still a good song and fit in well in the set list nicely. Okay. But I think as far as strength,
one of the weaker songs of the set.
Slightly weaker song of the set, yes.
Okay, that's probably why I don't remember it then. Okay, after that came Monster.
Ha ha ha!
Now, this is one of the songs that I actually knew before I even started the channel. I actually had heard that song before.
You played it for me a few times.
I think so. I think
so
I did.
I recognized this song when it came on. So, like a
long time ago.
Oh my God, long time ago.
When we were dating.
Oh my God, that was eons ago, way eons ago.
Oh God,
but
that's our age.
it's for me, Monster is a very it's a dark song in regards to the stuff that Skillet does. It's more on the darker side of what they go for. But I will have to say, I really like the song in general, and John live, the grit and growl with that song is oh.
Yep.
I was not anticipating how well he was going to sing that live. Because all I've heard is studio version.
It translated well live. It really did. It's funny, in a live setting, it kind of loses a little bit of its poppiness. It does. It becomes in a live
more
setting,
grit and growl.
It becomes edgier. It becomes more intense. And some of that little bit of a poppiness I remember talking about in my reaction to the studio version. Actually, I never did a studio version because I knew the song. But in the other live version, there's some overdubbing, obviously. But it sounded great live. Then came
my absolute favorite Skillet song, Rebirthing. And literally,
boy,
I could listen to that. I'm one of those girls, if I find a song I like, I'm going to listen to it on repeat. I I could listen to Rebirthing on repeat for hours. Literally was so sad when the song ended on their list. I was like, I want to hear it again. I do.
My arm still has bruises from when she grabbed me and she went, ah! And I was like, ow! I still have bruises. No, but it was a great song.
Oh, you poor baby.
Oh, whatever.
Poor Bracito.
Yeah, whatever. It's a great song. And in translating to live, yeah, okay, let me put it to you this way, folks. If they had not opened with Feel Invincible, if they decided to put that somewhere else, they were looking for another opening song, this would have been the one, Rebirthing. It would have been a perfect show opener. I feel very confident with that statement because it feels like a show opener. And they had it towards the end, almost as if it was like, and they didn't do any like encores, like, you know, let's go down, they leave the stage, and then they come. They didn't do that.
That would have been a great encore song.
It would have been a great.
I don't agree with the whole opener. I would not do it as a show opener.
Really?
No. I would. I believe that is a song that's really good for the show closer for an encore performance. I would not put it at the first.
It's like the first song of the encore, then.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense too. I could absolutely see that as well.
But I don't believe as a show opener, I would not play that song as a show opener.
Okay.
No. It gets a great pop, but it gives just enough of that pop before they have to close it out.
Gotcha. Okay. And then the last song of the night, The Resistance. What did you think of that song?
That one was different.
I liked it. As a show closer, I think it was.
It was
very
amazing. I think it was the perfect for Skillet show closing song to kind of wrap it up and say we're done.
The only way I can put it is this: you look at their set list, you look at the 14 songs that they selected for this tour. That was the song that made the most sense. In all honesty, I mean, I was looking at going, it's a great show closer. It's a good final exclamation point of we're done.
But,
and I thought they did a great job with that.
Well, the thing was when they were going rise, 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 rise.
Oh yeah, with the Resistance. Yeah, that's true.
So
that's true.
I mean, that really
again flashing up on the digital screens
in red. You know, it was fantastic. I think it resonated.
Yeah,
I think it really did.
Yep, I would agree with that. And then the house lights went down and they exited the stage quickly because the next band was coming out. Now, Theory of a Dead Man were actually technically the headliners. Now, here's the thing, folks. This was a Sunday night, and we were getting late. She has to get up early in the morning, and to be perfectly honest with you, I've never done a single reaction to Theory of a Dead Man, and I didn't want to potentially ruin any potential reactions. So, Mrs. Heretic and I, we made a judgment call between her having to get up in the morning or super early, like 4 o'clock in the morning early, and me never having done anything with Theory of a Dead Man. We decided to leave early.
I made the executive decision. So if anybody's going to be mad off the channel,
we made it together.
You agreed. But,
I agreed.
But I sat there and was like, I think we're going to make a judgment call. It is 10:30. The drive from LA to where we live with traffic is like an hour and a half. I'm pooped. And literally, I spent all of my energy on Skillet. Like,
yeah, you were beat.
Oh my God, I was sweating. My makeup ran. I was like, it has been an awesome night. Let's exit it on a high note so I can sleep well.
Yeah, and I agreed because, like I said, I've never done a reaction to them, and I don't want to ruin anything. So we did not stick around for Theory of a Dead Man. So if you guys were here hoping for a Theory of a Dead Man reaction, I'm sorry. Maybe we'll do some reactions for them in the future, and maybe we'll go see them again. But in any case, let's talk about, okay, so we talked about the set list, we talked about the songs, let's talk about the performers. John.
He literally has really good stage presence.
Yep.
And crowd interaction.
Yep.
Okay? The only thing is, and I know we're not the biggest. I know Skillet's a super band and they're also a religious band. So, but he did mention something religious in the middle of the show, which he rolls his eyes at. I understand it, but at least he didn't sound preachy.
No, I will say that. Did I roll my eyes when he said that part? Yes, I did. Okay, let's just say what he did. Right before they did Hero, or was it after they did Hero?
Before.
It was before they did Hero. He was talking about how everybody needs heroes, and he has a hero, and his hero is,
Jesus Christ. Thank you
go ahead
very
and say it.
much.
That's fine. He said it, and I'll be the first to admit that I rolled my eyes. Yes, I rolled my eyes. But at the same time, here's the thing. That's all he said. He never once said, you should too, or join me, or you should have the same thoughts as I do, or anything. He never once got preachy. He never once tried to convert anyone. I mean, he said his piece, and he left it at that. And I gotta give a lot of respect to him for that, because he right there had an opportunity that he could have gone into a full-blown sermon, and he probably would have gotten away with it. But the thing is, he didn't do that. He kept it classy. He said his piece, he said what he believed in, and that was it. Back to the music. And I was like, wow, that's class. That is absolute class. I have a deep, deep appreciation for that. And my respect level for him went up significantly because of that. I didn't feel uncomfortable one time. I never felt like I was being preached to one time. I'm not just talking about that one spot. I'm talking about the entire show. I never once felt like I was being preached to. I never once felt like they were trying to convert me. I never once felt like they were trying to absorb me into their collective or anything like that.
We are the Borg. Lower your shields and surrender your ships. We will add your biological and technological distinctiveness to our own. Your culture will adapt to service us. Resistance is futile.
They
Absorb into the collective.
Well, I'm using a Star Trek reference there for those of you that know what I'm talking about.
Seriously, you had to go there.
We
you
are
had
the
to
Borg.
go there.
Yep, we are the Borg. But I never once felt that. I never once felt uncomfortable. I didn't feel pressured. I didn't feel anything like that. So my hat is definitely being, tipped to Skillet for keeping it classy. John, it starts with John. John's the front man. He's the mouthpiece of the band. So kudos to him. His energy level on stage, fantastic. His stage energy, stage presence, he was moving around constantly. The only time he was not moving around is if he was singing and playing bass at the same time with a microphone in front of him. But if he had more than 8 measures of resting where he wasn't singing, he was gone. He was over to stage right. He was over to stage left, interacting with the crowd, interacting with Seth, interacting with Corey. How about that kiss? There was a point in the song where he went over to Corey and he laid one on her like it was his job, like he was being paid to do it. And the crowd.
Technically, he was being paid to do it.
Well, okay, technically. Yeah. Then again, you should have heard the pop when that happened, boy. He lets it be known that they're an item, and that was very cool of them. But he's definitely a great front man. Whether he's playing the bass or not, there were times where they went to track for the bass, and he was, just with the mic up at the front, interacting with the crowd as much as possible. Tremendous front man. Tremendous front man. Corey, we already talked about. Hats off to her, man. Good Lord. Non-stop energy from that woman. Yeah?
Agreed.
Agreed.
In
my opinion, now I know I'm going to get booed for saying this, okay? But listen, every band has a weak link. Every band does. In my opinion, that weak link is Seth. When it comes to stage presence, stage energy. He doesn't move around a lot. He doesn't interact a whole lot. He doesn't take any initiative to go out and interact with the crowd or go over and interact with John.
Okay,
he pretty much stays in his spot.
Okay, I am going to tell you something.
Okay.
Okay? If he had the same type of energy that everybody else in the band had, they'd be overshadowed. So honestly, I think for the dynamic of Skillet, one person who's kind of like the stand back, like I'm okay with being in the shadows, I think works for them.
No, it does.
But
it does work.
You need to not call him a weak link. I think it's the dynamic of what's needed for Skillet in general. You are just being too judgy.
You're taking what I was gonna say.
Sorry.
You didn't let me finish. I was going to say, when it comes to the live aspect of the show, he is the weak link. But, like you just took the words out of my mouth, that dynamic is necessary. If you look at some of the great show bands, I'm going to use my favorite as an example. Look at Kiss, right? You got Paul Stanley up front, you got Gene Simmons up front, both being in the spotlight. What's Ace Frehley doing? He's usually off stage, just like Seth is, over on stage left, just kind of standing there, you know, swaying back and forth and making that guitar his absolute slave. I mean, and that is kind of what Seth does. I kind of am seeing some parallel. After seeing them play live, I'm looking at Seth and I'm seeing a lot of parallels between him and Ace Frehley from a stage performance standpoint. He does what he needs to do. He fills in that type of role, and when it comes time for him to shine and shred that guitar, he does. So, as far as a live performance, showmanship, stage presence standpoint, is he the weak link out of the four? Yes, he is. But that role needs to be filled by someone. Because like you said, if all four members of the band are up on the front of the stage, it is going to kind of diminish the entire product as a whole, because you're taking all that energy to spray between four people instead of three. So he kind of lets the spotlight shine on the other three, and he does what he needs to do. I get it now. I do get it now. After seeing them live, I get it now. I'm still saying, out of the four, when it comes to stage presence and stage energy, he is the weaker of the four, but someone needs to fill that role, in that Ace Frehley role. And I think he does a great job of it.
So you know what I'm going to say?
What?
You're welcome for taking the words out of your mouth.
Thanks a lot. Anyway, last but certainly not least, let's talk about Jen, shall we?
I love her vocals. Absolutely love her vocals.
Her vocals were on point.
Not only is she killer on the drums, her vocals are to die for. Probably next to John, probably one of my favorite parts of the show. I know you're a Corey fan, but probably
Jen's my girl. I love Jen.
Probably one of my favorite parts of the show was listening to, Jen come in with her vocals. It is such a nice blend having that, that grit and growl male voice of John, and then the sweetness of Jen coming.
A sweet, clean voice.
Yep.
I've always enjoyed the contrast between the two, and when they sing together, it works well. Her vocals were on point. Now, was there track usage? Yes, there was track usage being used, but not for her vocals when she was singing lead. When her vocals were required harmonizations, they had track accompanying her. You would hear her voice doubled, and I'm sorry, I don't care how talented of a vocalist you are, you can't do that on your own. So there was track usage being used through the entire show. Yes, I will freely admit that. But her vocals, when she was singing live, you could tell they were live. B, they were impeccable. I never once, not one time, and I was looking. Believe me, I was looking. I was just looking for one thing to be sharp or flat. I never heard it. I never heard one sharp or flat note out of her. Her vocals were absolutely on point. On top of that, good Lord, she was committing a hate crime on those drums. She was beating them like they owed her money. I mean, good Lord. There was never a time where she was playing drums where she was just, sitting back, hi-hat, snare, hi-hat, snare. No, everything was from the shoulders. Everything was huge. Everything was big. And she put a lot of effort, great showmanship into her drumming. She really knew how to steal the spotlight.
That woman's got arms to die for.
She really does.
Because she came out to do that, to sing.
Yeah, for Hero.
Yep. And literally, I took one look at her arms, and we're sitting pretty high up, and I'm like, her arms are like that.
Yeah.
They're they're thick.
Yeah, she's looking a little thick in the arms. She's got a little cut there too.
I'm dummy thick.
No, she definitely put on a great show to boot. Overall, her drumming, fantastic. Her vocals were impeccable, absolutely impeccable. All right, let's wrap this up. We've taken almost an hour of their time already watching us, so let's wrap things up. Taking not Saint Asonia, just taking the Skillet show, start to finish, wrap it up in one big ball, and put it in a box, wrap it up, and tie a pretty bow on it, what would you give it? Are you gonna go 2 thumbs? You're giving it 2 thumbs. 2 thumbs up. Hey!
Yes!
2 thumbs. 2 thumbs up. Tell them why.
Why?
What is there not to say? You've listened for us for the last hour. Go on and on and on about how awesome they are. I don't need to repeat myself.
Okay. That leaves it to me now. On a scale of 1 to 10, you know me, I'm not gonna do thumbs. I'm gonna be very specific with my scoring. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna give that a 9.3. Yep, 9.3. You heard me. I didn't stutter. That is the score that I feel that entire show deserves. I'm not going to tell you why.
Why?
Because we already did. I'm not going to repeat myself. I'm just going to say that all the commenters that told me you need to see Skillet live to really appreciate Skillet, you need to go there in person and see them live. Folks, let me tell you, they didn't just live up to the hype, they surpassed the hype. One of the best live performances I have seen from a rock band ever. I mean, I thought they did a great job. Great stage energy, great production, great showmanship. They covered all of the bases, and they covered all of the bases at all times. So 9.3, I feel really good with that score.
To everybody who recommended Dave go see Skillet, thank you so very much. Not just that the fact that he went and he enjoyed himself thoroughly, but he got to take Mrs. Heretic with him. So you guys, thank you so much for kind of dragging him out of his comfort zone when it came to music that he normally doesn't go to see live.
Yep, I absolutely enjoyed myself. So, in closing, we have 9.3 here, 2 thumbs up here. We have spoken. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. Hopefully you all enjoyed the show. Hopefully we were able to entertain you. We were able to put a smile on your face and brighten your day, and we did our job, and we're so glad we could do it. If you guys feel like joining the fan base, go ahead and click on that button down there. If you guys want to like the video, go ahead and like the video. If you guys want to ring the bell, go ahead and ring the bell. It honestly doesn't make any difference at all to us, but if you guys feel like doing these things, then by all means, feel free to do so. Well, that's going to do it for tonight, folks. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, this is David Heretic and Mrs. Heretic signing off, reminding you to stay fabulous.
And support each other.
Later. Peace.